everyone and welcome back to the Pottery Corner, my studio down on the south coast of England near Chichester. I'm Sarah Amos, welcome along everybody. Another Glaze Kiln fire opening today. The students are ramping out the work and I am keeping the kilns going on the sunny days. As you know, we use some solar power here if we're able. So there's another load waiting to go in. And this rather large, massive thing here is a chimney that one of the ladies has made, which I'll go into as it goes through the firing processes. So without further ado, let's get on with it. The kiln is down to 17 degrees. It was cold yesterday, so I'll flick off the kiln supply, flick open the switch, and you absolutely know we've had the sneakiest of sneaky peeks. So let's get the lid up. Lots of things in this kiln, lots of students' pieces. There have been lots of courses going on, so that produces lots of work. So we'll go through it as we go. But actually, interestingly, the first item out is actually mine. But I've got a feeling it might be the only thing I have in this kiln. This is a hand-built mug. This glaze is called Amaco Moonscape. You'll have seen it before. I have used it before. This time I've used it in combination with Amaco's Blue Sapphire on the inside, so it's got a dark interior. And actually I think that the combination of those two glazes is pretty good, quite like that. The Amaco Moonscape is better used as 2 coats rather than 3 coats. If you use 3 coats, it tends to go more of this white colour, and if you use 2 coats you get more of the blue. So I am making myself not use quite so much of it so that I get more of the blue than the white. But it's a lovely matte glaze, and obviously it's very interesting, a nice interesting surface. So it's just a hand-built mug that I was just playing around with. So that's one of mine. Check the 2 over there. Okay, so I've got 3 ladies on a hand building course at the moment. Bryony, Jackie and Lara, and they have been for a few sessions now, and this is the first of their work out of the kiln. So I hope you're watching, girls. And I'm going to start with, I think this one is Bryony's. So I'm going to take the cookie. As you know, I fire everything on cookies just to make sure that they don't stick to my shelf. So in the first of the hand building course, we always make little pinch pots, and quite often the students will make them into these seed heads. So Bryony, this is the first of yours. This is Amaco's Chun Plum. Nice texture on there, a nice cap and a nice colour. So well done. That's the first of your pieces out of the kiln. Very pretty, nice sort of pinky purpley tone on that Amaco Chun Plum. That's the first of those. Jackie, this is the first of yours. Again, it's on a cookie, so just take that off. This is same thing, pinch pots. She's used one of my textured stamps to do the top, and there are some textured stamps in the Etsy shop, I think. And this is Amaco's Weeping Plum. So it's a Celadon glaze, which means it's lovely and clear and shiny, and it's this beautiful pink colour, Weeping Plum. Very nice. So that's the first of yours, Jackie. Lara, this is the first of yours. And again, take the cookie off. Look at that. That one's beautiful. Beautiful texture. Really interesting top that she's put on there. Lovely. And that glaze is just one glaze, Amaco's Blue Rutile. What a good doer that is. Where it breaks over the texture gives you this lovely brown. That is really pretty, really lovely. Well done, Lara. That's lovely. Lovely texture, lovely colour, lovely form. Well done. Beautiful. Very nice indeed. Stand up. There we are. Stand him up there. This one I think is... That's Bryony's again. So this one is Chun Plum again. And again, she's used the textured stamp with the daisy head on from my set in the studio. But I do think there are some on the Etsy shop. And again, that one is Chun Plum. So same thing. That one didn't stick at all to the cookie. Pop that in there. Right, Lara, these are your platters. These have been stood on actually, these are actually kiln shelves, tiny kiln shelves, which I use as cookies as well. So these are textured platters that we use by moulding them over some moulds in the studio. And again, she's textured it with the studio textures and put it onto little feet. Lovely. Glaze is Amaco's Downpour. Very pretty, lovely. Lovely texture, nice design, very well done. Like that one. And there's a partner to that one, which is this one, which is very similar. Again, in Amaco Downpour, slightly different stamps used on this one, but the same glaze. Lovely, very nice. Those are lovely. A nice set, Lara, so you'll be pleased with those, I know, when you come this week. Get rid of the cookie. It's coming up to Christmas, guys, so I've started making some of my little llama decorations. They're so sweet, aren't they? They're just cut out from, these are actually made in porcelain. I'm actually making a set for my daughter because she's moved house, and I thought I'd make her a new set of llama decorations for her tree. So there's more of those in the kiln. It gets to October and we have to start thinking about Christmas because of the process of getting things through the kiln. Right, so that's shelf one. Let's see what we've got on the next shelf. Oh, nice. Right. Okay. Pop that there. Get that out of the way. And Barbara from Edinburgh, she sent me a lovely message this week, which I thought was really funny. I hadn't realised that I had quite so many catchphrases, and she said to me, I'm going to see whether you can actually stop yourself from saying, we'll get rid of those props, which clearly I say every time. So Barbara, if you're watching, it made me laugh, your comment. Didn't realise that I said it every time. So this time I'm going to say, I'm going to take out my lovely kiln props, which obviously do an extremely good job, because they do a good job, but I will get them out of the way so they don't fall on the work. But clearly I have quite a lot of catchphrases, so that quite made me laugh. So there are more of the llamas in here. I use them as kiln fillers because obviously they're flat, so they go round the edges of things. So they're quite useful to fill the kiln, aren't they pretty? They're just done with a cookie cutter, really sweet. And I've just put a little bit of dark grey underglaze on the eye and the mouth, just to highlight it. But it's the nose actually, I think. Right, Gill. Gill couldn't come to class this week because she wasn't very well. So Gill, sending healing love. Your leaves, beautiful. These are lovely. So Jill's done some craft crank. So this is craft crank clay leaves. And this is Amaco's Indigo Float on this texture, wiped back off of the veining and left just in the deep veins. Pretty, very nice, like those. Isn't that lovely? Really nice. So she can use them outside on her patio table. So that's the smaller of the two, and this one is the larger of the two. They have just been fired on some silicon sand because they are flat. So I've just popped a little bit of silicon sand onto the kiln shelf. This one is the larger of the two. And she's put a little snail on. Isn't he gorgeous? Look at him. I will say that that is Janet's trademark usually. Janet, who made the castle in the last kiln opening video. She has this little trademark of palladium snails, which Jill's kind of just, what's the word? Complimented her and used the same theme. So there's a lovely, lovely snail. Isn't he gorgeous? I hope you can see him if I turn him round. A lovely snail on there, and he's been done in Amaco's Palladium. And the veining again on this piece is Amaco's Indigo Float. So those are a couple of really beautiful dishes. I'm sure she'll be delighted with those, as she should be. Those are very nice. I've done some test tiles of marbled clay. So I've got marbled clay upstairs where I've added pigments to the clay, but I didn't have any test tiles of them, so I thought it was a good idea to actually have some idea of what the colour is when they're fired and covered with a transparent glaze. So I've popped the name of the pigment that I've used in the clay by using some letters on the back. So when I'm sort of thinking about what colour goes with what on my marbled mugs, I'll be able to choose the colour better from those test tiles. Right, so let's get the next shelf out and see what delights we have. As I say, on this shelf is the silicon sand, so I'm just going to move it round and pop it onto the top of Midge. Right, and I'm going to get out my lovely kiln props. That did make me laugh this week, so I'll get those out. I think they're feeling a little bit more love, Barbara. I hope you think that I'm treating them better. Right, in here we have another poppy head pinch pot. This one again is Jackie's and again is Amaco's Weeping Plum. Lovely, nice texture on there, very nice, nice top, lovely glaze, lovely and shiny, shows up that texture really beautifully. Very nice indeed. I'm sure she'll be pleased with that, as she should be. Bryony, these are your platters. These are lovely. Look at these. So this one is Amaco's Storm. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful, shiny blue. Love it, love it. And again, a lovely use of the studio textured stamps. Lovely little feet on the back. What a lovely platter. Very, very nice. Like that. Lovely. Pop that one there. And then the other one of Bryony's is this one. Pick it up carefully. And again, it's got similar texture. This is Amaco's Fog. So again, a Celadon glaze, and it just sits so beautifully in the texture. Really nice. And again, same feet. And that one is Amaco Fog. So well done. Those are lovely. For somebody who's never made anything in clay, how pleased would you be to have made that? Beautiful. Well done. This one is mine. Now, those of you who watch my videos regularly will have seen this lovely little bowl going in and out of my kiln more times than I care to say. So it's a little thrown bowl. On the back we have Amaco's Cobalt, which is again a Celadon glaze. Lovely. On the inside it's Fog, and then on the rim is Jasper, and I've used a Sanbao Underglaze transfer. And the first 2 times it went through the glaze firing, it had pinholes in the Jasper on the rim. So after the second time of glaze firing it, I thought, well, in for a penny, in for a pound. By the time I get to the end of glazing this poor little bowl, there'll be nothing left of it because it would have shrunk so far. But actually adding a little bit more Jasper has made the difference. And beautiful crawl on the Jasper on the back on the Cobalt. Really nice. I hope you can see this beautiful crawl of ancient Jasper onto the Cobalt. Very, very pretty. And indeed, the crawl on the front on the Fog, again, very pretty. I'm actually going to use this bowl. I'm going to use it. I'm going to give it to my husband for his dessert bowl. So really very pretty. So that one's staying with me because I like it. And often when you make things and you sell things, you quite often forget to keep anything. So that one is going to be mine. So that's not going anywhere. The rest of what's in here are more llamas. There's another shelf. So we'll just get the llamas out quick. Beautiful little llamas. And the other cookie stamp that I have for doing Christmas decorations is this lovely polar bear. He's rather lovely too, isn't he? All you've got to do is put that onto a nice bright Christmas ribbon. I mean, what a nice thing to give to somebody. Maybe, you know, a teacher or somebody like that, you know, somebody that you just want to give a little gift to and give them something handmade by somebody. So those are porcelain, as I say, just porcelain clay. I've used a little bit of dark grey underglaze just to pick out the features, covered it in a transparent glaze, Beautiful. So yes, those are nice. There'll be more of those coming out of the kiln in the next couple of months. And then the rest of the coloured clay tiles are in here. And actually, I'm quite surprised at how many different colours of marbled clay I have upstairs. So it just goes to show you when you do an exercise like this that you can see how many different types of colours, and it will give me a good way of putting the colours together when I want to choose which colours I'm going to use on a marbled mug. So those are jolly useful. I shall be able to use those. They'll be really helpful. Right, last shelf out. What have we got in the bottom? Take the shelf out carefully. Ah, yes. Now, let's get rid of that. And my lovely kiln props. Barbara, you'll be laughing your head off, won't you now? Yeah, I'm being so nice to my kiln props today. By next video, I'll have forgotten and we'll be going back to saying how horrid they are. Right. More seed heads. This one, I think, is brownies. Yes. I get my students to put their initials on the bottom so that I can differentiate between, because there's so many of them that it's nice just for them to put the initials on. This one is brownies. This is another beautiful seed head. Lovely texture. Look at that. And she's added some coils to make the spines on this one. Really nice. And that is Amaco's Mulberry. Again, another good, shiny Celadon Amaco glaze. Excellent. This one, I think, is Jackie's third one. Yes, so she's done a set of Weeping Plum. Again, lovely texture on there. I like that. And again, used the same motif on the top. And again, Weeping Plum. So her set is really nice, all the same. And Lara, this is the second of yours. Yes, we lost a little bit of the texture with using the Blue Rutile. You can still see most of it, but I know there was quite a lot more underneath. But again, a lovely seed head, a lovely colour, beautiful. I love that Blue Rutile, where it breaks and leaves the brown. Really, really nice. So that's lovely. So a very, very successful set, and I know they'll be delighted to see the pieces in the flesh at the weekend. Right, I'm going to do my bowl first. Okay, so I was doing a throwing demonstration for a throwing course, and I made a little bowl, and this one is to go with the one that we had earlier, except this one's got 2 birds in it instead of 1. So two for the price of 1 in this bowl. So again, this is the same combination. This is Amaco's Cobalt on the back, Fog inside, and Jasper on the rim. And Sanbao Underglaze. Nice. Yes, very nice. And oh no, it doesn't quite nest, but you know, hey, they were thrown at different times, so it's not really surprising. But those are nice. I'll have those in the house. Right, the ladies that came and did the throwing, Lynn and Diane. Diane hadn't thrown anything on the wheel for 30 years, which was an awfully long time. And then she succeeded to throw these beautiful bowls. One of them came out of the kiln in the last kiln opening, which she'd done in Snapdragon. And I kind of surreptitiously gave her a slightly larger piece of clay each time, and then gave her the same piece of clay the second time, so that she thought there was more clay, but actually there wasn't, but she still made a bigger piece with it because it was thinner. So these are Diane's bowls, and I have to say, wow. So having not thrown for 30 years, she threw this, and this was my demonstrator. I mean, honestly, there's no difference between the two, really. She's done such a fabulous job. Nice foot on the bottom, really, really lovely. So she did really well. So this one is textured turquoise, Amaco's textured turquoise, and a lovely glaze, really pretty, almost like a duck eggy blue or a sort of a sagey, greedy blue. Really, really lovely, beautiful. So that's the first of those. This one is the second. This is Amaco Sky. I mean, look at that one. Fabulous, absolutely fabulous. She did such a good job. Beautiful bowl. So that's Amaco's, again, another Celadon Glaze Sky. And the third, unbelievably, look at this. So along she comes and throws a bowl like that, having not thrown for 30 years. Amazing. So Diane, she said that her husband said she should get a wheel, and I said, let him buy you one, because clearly you're very talented. Amazing job. So this is the third of Diane's bowls. And actually, when I put them together in the bisque firing, look at this. They even nest. Look. I mean, fancy that, coming to a course and throwing a nested set of bowls. Diane, whoo, blew me away, I can tell you. Fantastic. So I do hope that your husband buys you a wheel, because you really do need to carry on with your talent of throwing, my dear. So that was really very good. So that's all that's in there. Couple of things. Obviously, student of the week. Well, what can I say? I mean, you know, I would even find it quite difficult to do a nested set of bowls. So Diane, well done. You have student of the week this week. Okay, and then just a few lovely emails to share with you. This came from Edith, and Edith bought some of my textured stamps from the Etsy shop that we were talking about earlier. Edith is in Zurich. So thank you, Edith, for sending me this. She said that she'd had such fun playing with the interlocking textured stamps that she bought, and she's made this beautiful dish. Look at that. That looks like Amaco's Rainforest to me. Not entirely sure that's what it is, but I would say that was what it is from the colour. Beautiful. So what a lovely combination of textured stamps to make that dish. Really lovely. So thank you, Edith, for taking the time to send me a picture, having bought the stamps on Etsy. Very, very nice. Thank you very much. Couple of poppy heads. This one is from Debbie Philpott. And again, there's a playlist on the channel of how to make sculptural poppy heads. So if you haven't seen those videos, I'll pop a link up at the end. You can link through from there. So this is from Debbie Philpott, and she said that she'd watched some of my brilliant tutorials and even made some poppy heads. So thank you, Debbie, for sending me a picture. So I've actually printed it out again. So this is Debbie's poppy head. So she's clearly used some copper oxide by the looks of it on here. Really lovely, nice base colour clay. Looks like a sort of a reddish colour, really nice. And then she also sent me a picture of, we think this is a Buddha symbol with the hands, which is lovely. Isn't that lovely? Really, really nice, lovely. And it looks like there's some buttons in the background. That looks like what they are. Really lovely. So lovely, Debbie. Thank you for sending me those. And this one is from Jolanta Zigotta. Now, I'm sure I've pronounced that wrong. I'm sorry, Jola. But yes, thank you so much. And she says she's been inspired to make the poppy head. She's 55 years old and she lives in Warsaw and became interested in ceramics last year. So this is a picture of Jola's poppy head. And again, she's used the glass on the top as we did in the structural poppy head video. I mean, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Lovely coloured glass. And lovely copper oxide on there again. Quite thick application of copper, so it's quite dark, but lovely. So thank you, Jola, for sending me that. It's really nice to hear from everybody. And if you've done one of the projects in my videos, then please send me a picture, pop it over on through the website. The link to my website is in the description below, or you can pop it onto Instagram, and the Instagram title is the.pottery.corner. So send me a picture. I just love getting pictures of your stuff when you make it, so that's great. That's all for me to say today. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you all on the next one. Bye for now.